Today we are going to be making these recycled cardboard weaved baskets. They are inspired by the Pomo basket weaving of weaving round reed baskets. Some slight modifications have been made in order to better accommodate the cardboard material, but otherwise steps will be followed fairly close to the traditional method. For supplies, you are going to need 12 half centimeter by 30 centimeter spokes and 1 half centimeter by 300 centimeter long flexible weaver. That is the long piece that you're going to be weaving between your spokes. Okay, for step 1, I'm going to take 6 of my spokes and I'm going to weave them into each other as shown. I will be placing 3 down, then lifting 1 up so that when you put the third piece back down and another one horizontal to it, it is in a pattern of below, above, below. And you're going to reverse that pattern once you bring in your second spoke going in the other direction. And make sure that you tighten them up so that they stay together well. And then again, reverse the over, under pattern and bring everything tight together to stay close. Once you're satisfied that everything is equidistant and that it's tight together, you're going to take a piece of tape and you're going to tape it the horizontal way. And then you're going to repeat that process again going vertical just to make sure all of those pieces stay in place. Now you will repeat that process so that you have 2 of these plus-shaped pieces, and you will arrange them so that they look like an asterisk. Next, I'm going to go underneath my horizontal bottom piece and bring that little bit of the flexible weaver over, grab a piece of tape, and secure that first part of that flexible weaver in place to the horizontal bottom spoke. Once that's done, make sure to readjust your asterisk for your 2 parts of the 2 crosses, and now you will begin the weaving process in groups of 3. Because you went under for the first one, you're going to go over for the second one. And then continuing on, you will go under, and then over in groups of 3. Under, and then over. And then continue going over, and then under, until you've come round full circle. And you're going to do that another time. So make sure that now that you're going on that second round, since you went over the first time, you're going to go under the second time. And now you will go over and under. And each time you're checking to make sure that it's the opposite of whichever direction you went last time, so that it creates a proper weave. And continuing around until you've gone all the way around twice. Now the next step gets a little bit more complicated, so make sure to pay close attention. Instead of doing groups of 3, now we're going to do groups of 2. And there will be 2 sections that will have groups of 3. So here is a group of 2. So I'm going to go under for this one. And because I went under for that first group of 2, I'm going to go over for the next group of 2. And then because I just went over, I'm going to go under for the next group of 2. And just adjusting to make sure that everything stays in place. And then under, as you can see. Now for this next segment of your stalks or spokes, I'm going to do 3. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, because you need 2 of these groups of 3 in your weaving process. So 3, and then I grab the next 2, and then I go under. And then here it's being a little bit tricky on me because it wants to group together in that group of 3, but I'm just very careful to make sure to separate it so that it will be a group of 2 in just a second here. So now I'm pulling that aside and going to the over, and then under for 2, and over, And then this is my second group of 3. So for that one, we're going to have 1, 2, 3 spokes instead of 2. And that one's going to go under. And then we're back to our groups of 2. So that next needs to go over. And I'm just adjusting to keep everything in place and hold it tight. And then the next will be under. And now I'm just going to keep weaving it around, making sure that if I went over last time I go under, and if I went under last time I go over. And since we've already established which 2 groups of 3 there are going to be in our weaving, and that the other are going to be groups of 2, we can just weave over, under, over, under, over, under, again and again until we get closer to running out of our flexible weaver. And we're going to keep going around, going the opposite of whichever the last was for the spokes, or if it was over, then under, or under, then over, around, and around. And then eventually you're going to reach near the end of your long 300 centimeter long flexible weaver. And when you do that, just bring it around and tape it down. What I like to do is take a thin piece of Scotch tape here and sort of wrap that Scotch tape around your topmost weaving level to make sure that it's held into place quite firmly, like that. And now what I'm doing essentially is I am tightening the weave and making sure that everything is in a shape that I like. Next is another way that's adapted to the material. We are going to weave our spokes back into the basket. And so here I'm showing you that, see how this one ends from behind? I'm going to bring that back over so that it loops over. And then we are going to weave it then we are going to continue to weave it so that it's the opposite direction of whichever we went. So over, under, and then secure it in place. And it's the same for the spokes that end where they're on the outside. So you're going to wrap it around and then put it under that second layer of your flexible weave, and you're going to then adjust it so that you can do that next section will go over, and then the last one will go under until it's flush. Now here's another example of doing it with the 2. So it's under, over, as you can see. And then when you're ready, once you get to the end of those pieces, you're going to work on making sure that it's good and then tuck it in place. And you're going to repeat doing that on the inside and the outside until you've tucked all of those stalks in all the way around. And when you're done, your final piece should look like this and be about this size. Ta-da!